Namami Dhanvantarim. I namaskar, I salute and acknowledge and invoke Dhanvantari, that perfect health aspect of consciousness. Namami Dhanvantarim. Adi Devam, the first Devata, the first celestial being to rise from the field of the unmanifest, the Samudra. Surasure Vandita Parapadmam. The Suras and the Asuras, the celestial beings, the Devatas and the demons, the negative energies, the positive and the negative, Vandita, worship his Parapadmam, his lotus feet. Loke Jera Ruk Baya Mritunasham. Loke, in this world, Jera, aging, Ruk, disease, Baya, fear, Mritu, mortality, Nasham. He destroys fear, mortality, and aging. The masculine destroys this because Dhanvantari is masculine. Mritunasham, Datara Nisham Viviroshadinam. He's the Datara, he's the creator of all the Oshadi, of the herbs. So this is what we're invoking with this mantra, this perfect health aspect of consciousness, which removes all these qualities, which gives the healing herbs or the healing substances. So this is the Dhanvantari Vandanam, and we will go into Navaratri. So Navaratri is, Nava means 9, and Ratri means night. So I suggest you guys take notes, because there's a lot of information and you'll want to know, because a lot of today is going to be practical and things which you can do on these 9 nights. And essentially, in Ayurveda, they don't really mention these quote unquote festivals a lot. But when they're teaching in Ayurveda, the ṛtucaryā means the seasonal regime, they really emphasize these 9 nights, which come 4, maybe 5 times a year, but there's 2 main times a year that they come. And that is the new moon, known as Amavasya, after every equinox. So we're going to bring in a bit of Vedic astrology, but a specific aspect of Vedic astrology called Panchang, which is looking at the calendar, looking at the current transits. And it's good for you to know this, because wherever you are in the world, you're all in different areas. You can calculate really when is your Navaratri. And the way to do that is you look at the first new moon after every equinox, and it starts then. So today, and I didn't intend this to happen, but today is the equinox. So when is the new moon? That is when the Navaratri starts, after the new moon. So in Sydney, Australia, and New South Wales, for example, the new moon is on the 26th of September till, from memory, till up to 7:50 a.m. So actually, you're meant to calculate with the sunrise of the next after the new moon. So technically, it does start on the 27th in Australia, but in India, and I'm pretty sure the US, it's the 26th is the first day. And my teachers and my tradition, it's important that always we do Navaratri with the collective consciousness. So although we're missing by like an hour and a half, the new moon is too late. So technically, it's on the 27th, but we start on the 26th. One, it's not a big gap, 1.5 hours, but Maharishi Mahesh Yogi always emphasized, and the Rajavedyas emphasize, that we do with the collective, because the collective consciousness is in tune with this energy of Mother Divine, this energy of restoration. We can go from subtle, we can go from divine, celestial qualities of divine feminine is dominant, but also we can look at the relative, and it's a time where our digestive fire, because the sun is transiting, it's also transiting in our biology. So we can use this opportunity, and that's why Ayurveda really acknowledges this and doesn't really acknowledge other festivals as much, because it is such a change in our physiology. So that's how you work out Navaratri. Hope that makes sense. Then you go 9 days, and then on the 10th day is a special day called Victory Day, which is a beautiful day and a wonderful day to initiate things and start new things. We've got people proposing to their partner. We've got people starting businesses, investing on that day, talking to their father who they've never spoken to in 10 years. We'll go into that later. That's the 10th day, a wonderful day to do new things with support of nature. So Navaratri, 9 nights to restore the body. So So this is basically the equinox and the solstice. So I said there's two main Navaratris on both after the equinoxes, the new moon after the equinox. And there's also the solstice. So the equinox is when we have equal amounts of time. So on today, we had the equal amounts of day and night. And summer solstice, so whether it's December or June, according to your hemisphere, you'll get the longest day and the shortest day. And the two main Navaratris are after the equinoxes. And the main Navaratri out of all of them is this Navaratri. Now, that's for the Northern Hemisphere, especially. The Southern Hemisphere, technically that energy is different. However, we need to again refer back to this collective consciousness, and particularly looking at India, where there is probably around 1 billion people, maybe more or less, who are invoking Mother Divine at this time. And that is what we should be utilizing, that collective consciousness and that collective direction of energy. So this is the Maha Navaratri, the great Navaratri, which is coming up. So why is Ayurveda so important? It gives such importance to Navaratri. When you look at, and maybe all of you guys are feeling, and I really want you guys to be, I want you to comment on this throughout. So how many of you guys are either personally experiencing all around you experiencing sickness? Like I'm talking common colds, common flus, maybe lower immune system, things are changing. Please guys comment, like me, my family, whatever, like how much are you guys seeing that, particularly if you're practitioners? I'm experiencing it, and I'm seeing it with people, because this is what happens at this time of the year. This is why in Ayurvedic medicine, there is a few significant causes of disease. And you may have heard, a common one you may have heard is Agni, or digestive fire. Digestive fire is the most common, is the root. It is a sarvam eka karogaram mandu manahalaha. Low digestive strength is the cause of all disease. So that's one you may have heard, digestion, the root of all disease. Definitely that's true. Another one is suppression of the natural urges. When you suppress your natural urges, and this is one which is not recognized enough. When you suppress your natural urges, this is a significant cause of disease. So this can be like belching, farting, burping, going to the toilet, urinating, defecating, hunger, thirst, sleep. Like urination is such a common cause which people are suppressing, and I've seen a lot of people get illnesses from that. Another significant cause of disease in Ayurveda is change of the seasons. Now, we underestimate how much the external influence, we underestimate how much the external environment influences us. And that is because we think we can buffer and insulate ourselves from the outside environment. But as much as good as your air conditioning or your heating or your home is, it has an influence. Now, we can take seasonal change to the next level and come at these 9 days, around these 9 days. You may even see it more so after the 9 days. So this is the biggest shift. It's when the sun is moving from, it's going in the northern direction or the southern direction. So there's so much to that. But basically, the sun is really important, because the sun, if you look in the solar system, the sun is the center. The sun governs. It's kind of the governor. Everything is going around the sun. It's like that core. Similarly, that's within ourselves. We have a sun. We have our digestive fire, which we call Agni. And according to the microcosm, is the same as the macrocosm. So when the sun is shifting, definitely we are shifting. So Navaratris at the equinoxes come in the middle of what we call ṛtucaryā and ṛtucaryā, which is the northern movement of the sun and the southern movement. 6 months, 6 months. If you divide the year by 6 months, 6 months, 6 months the sun is increasing, and the next 6 months the sun is decreasing. As the sun increases, so imagine summer, imagine daytime, you are getting hotter, your energy is getting weaker. When the sun is decreasing, it's getting cooler, more moon energy, which is more energy in the body. Yeah, we'll go into that a bit later, but not so important. Point is, sun is definitely influencing on our health, and that's why Navaratri. So you look at the statistics. Here we have influenza-like illness reports from aspirin, which is like a common GP surveillance, all the GPs submitting data. So this is 2022, and you'll see the 5-year average from this is around, now around late August, September. It's around that Navaratri time that's coming before. And similarly, we look at the second Navaratri in March, and you can say mid-March or March, April. It changes every day according to the lunar calendar. You'll also see a bit of a peak there. And then you look at the same with here again in the March. So this, I believe, is from US. And again, of course, winter and things has its role, and you see that also in these charts. But again, March is seeing flu-like symptoms being reported. Again, close around the March Navaratri here especially, and even September, it's beginning to rise. This is again, I believe, the US. And of course, that big peak of 2020 is due to COVID. But again, September-ish area, even the winter here is less than the late winter September. So these seasonal changes, these Navaratri changes has a big influence. In India, this is an interesting chart because it's comparing Srinagar, which is up north in the mountains, to New Delhi. So the mountains is a very different thing, but as you again see here, that September time is peak influenza cases. So this is, I don't know how to stop my screen share. I wanted to stop it or not, but anyway, this is oh, here we go. So these are some of the influences that it's happening. You can see it's happening. So this is a time to do it. Navaratri, and what I want to share with you, is a wonderful time to activate different aspects of your health, to take action on your health, because you have, especially the equinox. Equinoxes, there's a lot of things moving. Okay, it's the solstices are really like a time of stillness. But the equinoxes, this time after, starting from today, but starting these 9 nights, a lot of things are moving. So it's a typical time to cleanse the body, but more so restore the body. So what the point of this webinar is to invite you guys to take opportunity in the cosmic weather, but it's not even that cosmic. It's really just sun and seasons. It's quite relative to the human, and use that to make your internal biology, whether you need to detox, whether you need to restore. And we're going to share different things you can do for yourself. And I'm going to share them in a very way which you can choose. You can choose. If this is your first time hearing about Ayurveda, we've got the beginner level, you can say. If this is your 10th time doing a Navaratri each year, we've got some things you can do. If you've taken herbs, like so that I'm going to give you different methods, but the point is to utilize this time when after equinox, there's max motion. And the equinoxes are like the center. Prashanti, who I learned a lot, my friend and wonderful Ayurvedic practitioner who has taught me a lot about Navaratri. He talks about the equinoxes as the center of the earth's, he'll call it Gaia's, breath. This is the center of the breath of the earth, because this equinox is coming in the middle of these 6-month cycles. If we just want to divide the year into 2 6 months, and it's getting hot or it's going towards hot, cooling down, the center is like a time to stop, to take a breath. It's when the earth takes breath. So similarly, we can take a breath and enjoy this support. So right now, perhaps before we get into that, I want to mention that before Navaratri, and when at the end of it is an important fortnight called Pitru Paksha. And if anyone, I don't have a lot of slides, it's all last minute and kind of casual conversation tonight, but if anyone knows how to spell Pitru Paksha, please type it in for people. But it means the fortnight of the ancestors. So I'll just briefly share, because it's important for you to acknowledge, and that's the fortnight leading up to Navaratri. So we have another 4 days. So it's been 10 days. Is a time when the veil unveils, and we have this greater accessibility to our ancestors. And our ancestors are those in our lineage that have passed, and even beyond just our bloodline, and particularly the ones in our bloodline, they have one purpose, and that's one purpose only, and that is to support their progeny, to support their people down the line. But that requires you to reciprocally give that energy, reciprocate. They want to help you. They want to help you achieve your dharma, your evolution, to support and what is the most evolutionary thing you can be doing. They want to support you, but you need to give them your energy, whether it's communing with them in various ways. So this is typically a time in the Vedic tradition where during these 2 weeks, you don't initiate anything. You don't start new things. You don't buy a house. You don't even think about it. You don't start something new, a new project. This is a time you don't engage in sexual relations because you want to have full connection and honor to the ancestors, because this is a time where they're really prevalent due to certain astrological events, which opens up the realm which they're in. So it's important to know that, and because it's kind of like also surrendering a bit of your personal life to connect with that, because after, like I referred to, that victory day is a really day to initiate, and it's just giving you victory. And this kind of is pulling back the bow. Navaratri is pulling back the bow, and then even go 2 weeks before is ṛtucaryā, the fortnight of the ancestors. So if you want to learn more about that, check out the Vital Veda podcast with Robert Svoboda on honoring your ancestors for celestial support in life. It talks about ways to connect your ancestors, not only on ṛtucaryā, but every day, and just in general on new moon and certain things. It's one of the best Vital Veda episodes of that year, and it's one of the top. So a wonderful topic, particularly for those who have a connection with ancestors, which I'd say is most people, or who desire a greater connection. So after this ṛtucaryā, we have Navaratri, which, as I said, is starting on the 26th. I'm pretty sure everywhere in the world is starting on the 26th. And what are some things you can do? So how about, like, first of all, we talk about, there's so many things in Navaratri. You go to India, you'll see people offering, doing worshipping to statues of the goddess and the Devi and many aspects, but the goddess is in time itself. Honoring these cycles and being aware and in tune with these rhythms of nature. If you learnt about Ayurveda, you will know the daily routine is important. The seasonal routine. So we have daily routine, ṛtucaryā. We have seasonal routine, ṛtucaryā. Then we have other charyas, and we can go extensive. We can go to this moon cycles, new moon, full moon. We can go to the equinox, the solstice. So this time is feminine. It's divine feminine. It's the flow. Masculine is like the field of unmanifest, that unified field of pure consciousness. It's stillness. It's max stillness. It's more solstice energy, but it's stillness. And then from that stillness comes these wonderful rhythms. And one of them is definitely these equinoxes. It's the heightest, especially the equinox Navaratri, rather than the solstice Navaratri, which has more femininity. So this is the Mother Divine itself. This is divine feminine. Like, it's not just getting a statue of a goddess and worshipping. Like, it's time. You may have heard of Kali, which is that divine feminine aspect of consciousness which destroys that which is irrelevant. See her with a garland of skulls and blood dripping from her lips from the things she's eaten. So the bodies and the demons she's been eating. So like this, honoring time itself and honoring these rhythms of nature is invoking Mother Divine. And what do I mean Mother Divine? Divine feminine. We are all, every gender is masculine and feminine. And it's important to have both of them, not necessarily in equal, but to have them both in a way which is activating each other. And you can't have one without the other. So when one is healthy, the other is healthy. We need both of them to be healthy, the feminine and the masculine people. And this is another time not only to restore your health, but also to activate that. So why 9 nights? There's a few things. One is 7 you know, when you look at ṛtucaryā, when you look at seasonal routine, when the seasons change, and this is a good thing in general for everyone to know, when it's general seasonal change, and I said it's a significant cause of disease, we want to give, like, we generally say 14 days, 7 days before the season changes and 7 days after. For those 14 days, if you can just be a bit more diligent with your health, perhaps not eating sugar, you know, being careful with the pizza and the sugar and the alcohol, and eating more light, and being a bit more diligent and giving more attention to your daily routine. It's wise to do that for about 14 days on a seasonal change. So similarly with the Navaratri, it's 7 days to have those 7 tissues formed, and we're giving it an extra 2 days for back and forth, for buffer. We also have 3 types of Mother Divine, and this lecture I'm not going to get too much into the divine feminine aspects, but I can show you some of them. I think I have some as on my screen, but for those who know, Lakshmi, Saraswati, and Durga. So here we have Durga on the lion, who's that courage type of feminine, that which removes irrelevancy and kills. And then we might have some of them just to show you. This is Durga again, killing demons, which really stands for killing the dark sides. This is Saraswati, that aspect of wisdom, and the other one we don't have, which is Lakshmi, abundance. But basically, that's again these 3, so 3 days each, 3 invoked. So if you want to connect more with those subtle energies which we put into the form of, and expresses themselves in the form of Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati, you can also connect with that. So, and of course we have 9 main channels in the body. So it's a great way to detox and through these 9 channels. So there's a lot of things about this. So what can you do? Let's talk about what you guys can do during these 9 nights to utilize this energy which is available. And we can look at that by looking at the 3 pillars of health of Ayurveda. It's called Traya Upastamba. And I like using Sanskrit for those who are new to my lectures, or I kind of like to go a bit more deep. Some of you may listen to the podcasts or whatever, but this is like a bit more deeper. So Sanskrit is the sound of nature. It's that sound that nature is intending to make. And the best example, like the whole Sanskrit is automatopoeia, like boom, bam, smack. Like that's, the whole Sanskrit is that. So just the best example is heart. Heart in Sanskrit is hridaya, hridaya, hridaya. And let's even look at these 3 words. Ahara is food. Ahara. It's like nourishment, substance. Ahara. Nidra, sleep. Brahmacharya. Brahma is creation. It's like masculine, unmanifest creation, creative potential. And charya. Charya is like movement. It's like moving and functioning and regime. So the 3 pillars, so this is, you can look at the 5 elements quickly. So akasha is space. Vayu is, akasha, space. Vayu is air. Tejas, fire. Apa, water. And prithvi, earth. So these are the Sanskrit names, the 5 elements. I hope you guys can feel in the sound that is expressing that function or that form of nature. Every form and phenomena in the universe, the Sanskrit word is, or the Sanskrit name is the attempt of nature to reveal that through sound. It's an attempt. We don't call it the language of nature, but we call it the first child of the language of nature, because the language of nature cannot be spoken with through us. So a bit on Sanskrit, why I like Sanskrit. And sometimes, like, for example, in this slide, I don't write the translation because I want you guys to write it and learn. So ahara, food, nidra, sleep, brahmacharya. We'll go through this. Brahmacharya is regime of creation, mastering creative energy. So Ahara, we'll start with food because in Navaratri, it's a really big thing is your diet. Because Navaratri, as I said, it's a movement of the sun and digestion is huge. And you'll hear, even in India, although a lot of people, they may lose the essence of the true teachings of these Vedic things, but they will still maintain some diet changes. So you can fast. It's definitely advised to, as I said, when the seasons change, similarly with Navaratri, you want to put less strain on your Agni. Agni means digestive fire. You want to eat less. You want to eat lighter. It's really important. Like bottom line, if you just want to sum up the food in for the 9 days and again, this is going to support your health, just eat lighter. So if you're eating a lot, if you're the kind of person who eats 3 meals and snacks all the time, perhaps go to 3 meals, no snacks, or go to just 1 snack. And that's in the afternoon. Definitely cut out your evening snacks. If you're the type of person who after dinner eats snacks or has chocolate or ice cream or even nuts and sultanas, whatever it is, definitely after dinner, you want to cut that out. So we want to just shift these patterns. Navaratri is a great time to interrupt patterns that do not serve your health. Interrupt them. 9 nights. Usually you need 40 days to shift a habit in big time. Like when I work with drug addicts or any addiction, alcohol, cigarettes, food addictions, anything, 40 days, we really want to give certain herbs to reconfigure the intellect relationship with that. But during Navaratri, we have a quicker, more effective way to interrupt certain patterns. So you can do that. If you're already eating 3 meals a day, you can move to 2. Classically, Navaratri, generally, it's like 1 meal a day. And remember that a meal can 1 to 2 meals is good. And remember that a meal is, it can be, for example, hot milk in the morning, a cup of hot milk or a coffee if you love it, but that's something you want to give up during Navaratri. That doesn't count as a meal. So if you, for example, wanted to just have lunch and dinner, wonderful. And in the morning, have a hot drink. If the hot milk is not enough for you, have some dates and coconut and nuts in it to give you a bit more protein. And then there's some people who want to just do, maybe I'll just do fruits only for 9 days. That's like the extreme. Maybe I'll just do vegetables only and fruits for 9 days. The Indian president, or president or prime minister, Narendra Modi, one of the last Navaratris, he was in USA, and all he did for 9 days was drink lime water and eat honey. Lime water, maybe the honey was in the water. It wasn't hot. But that's all for 9 days. He just had water, lemon, and honey. Now that's very advanced. That's what we call tapasya, and it's not recommended. And by the way, this is really important. I want to add like a disclaimer. Like, this is not medical advice, and this is maybe not the best for you. Even if you think you're hardcore or you want to be the top, for example, me, I once did a fruit only Navaratri, only half, because I only thought about it halfway, and it was awesome. And I was just so looking forward to the next Navaratri to do 9 days of fruit only, which is this Navaratri, but I'm not doing it because I just did Panchakarma, which is an Ayurvedic cleanse, and I'm currently in the phase of building. I've just cleansed, so I should not be cleansing anymore. I need to build, and I can't. It's not going to be healthy for me to do some fasting or only fruit. So as much as I'd love to go hardcore, as the type of person I am, I'm not going to. So don't think you guys have to go to the end of this table of pre-tapasya and all these things. So that's just an important thing to know. None of this is medical advice. These are some things I'm giving. I tend to give excess information in my webinars and my lectures, but it is, and what I've been loving, like those who are so divinely, time is organized for them to have consultations with me the past week, is just doing Navaratri plans included in the whole thing of their general health and addressing. So that's another good thing to do, is to do specific for you. But yeah, so surrendering foods, big one. Definitely sugar, processed sugar, caffeine, alcohol, chocolate, cheese, cheap oils. Definitely. Everyone can do that. if someone is here and they're like eating fast food and McDonald's, very interesting why they're here, but great. Maybe you're doing it less. If you're eating this stuff 4 times a day or 3 times a day, maybe you're just having 1 piece of sugar, whatever. But assume most of the people here don't eat too much processed crap and sugar and junk food. So in that case, forget it. 9 days, do none. That's big. That's huge. It says initiate, but that's so good. How wonderful, especially for you guys. I know so many of you here drink coffee every day and you don't want to, you love it. Great. If you drink 5 coffees a day, maybe you'll do 1 coffee a day during Navaratri, or 2, whatever. You can decide. This table, these recommendations are not definitive. They're not, you have to do the table. This is a general guide and a general thing, so some inspiration of how you can adjust. Next step with this, maybe you'll go, no, I'm not going to do any takeaway foods. I'm going to do all that stuff and I'm not going to eat out at a restaurant. I'm not going to do takeaway. I'm just going to cook myself. And then maybe you want to go next level and say, I'm not going to eat rice or wheat. Now I add this in particularly for Indians. In India, it's a very big surrendering of preferences to not eat rice, particularly in South India, and wheat in North India, because in India, people are addicted to rice. And like the biggest thing is, oh my God, I'm not going to have rice for 9 days. It's big. But you can also, even me, I checked, not just in India, I checked today, I spoke to my teacher, Dr. Raju, and I was just checking like, maybe I can feel I should not be doing too much fast. I said, maybe I should just not eat wheat and rice. And he said, even not necessary for me, better not. So again, check where you're at. Now, a very common thing in Navaratri is no grains at all. And this is a wonderful thing. We've done in the past a few times, and it's really nice. The point of a Navaratri is also because you're having more fresh, like rice and grains and legumes, they have their place. But we just want like maximum prana, maximum life force. And that's where we're kind of going towards the end of this table. And, or I said earlier, fruit and vegetables only, like just fresh fruits. Now I'm sorry, fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. So my wife and I, Sole, like one 9 days, we just did like just vegetables. And then you can go like, after that, not even root vegetables, just green, just this, what grows above the ground. And what you're getting here is a very high prana. Very high prana. And like, I'm sharing this with you, not that you have to do that only for 9 days, but maybe you want to try, have less grains and less, don't be, you have to do initiate or some experience or advanced or pre-tapasya. You can navigate throughout these. So these are some things. And getting rid of, which is going to, for example, for me, but if you do drink dairy, and like I love dairy, but maybe it's not easy to get good quality dairy and fully ethical dairy. So maybe we'll surrender that for 9 days. Foods to include: home cooked foods, fresh and local produce, ghee. Add more turmeric. Turmeric is like Durga. It is Mother Divine. It's like the mother. It does so many things to mitigate so many diseases and help so many diseases. It's a feminine herb, and it's antiviral and antibacterial and anti-inflammatory, and it really helps during this time. Use turmeric powder, not fresh. Be generous with the turmeric. Use it in your cooking. Put like generous amounts. Have good yellow food, and you can do that with turmeric because it's not a strong taste. And even if you want to put it in your food, if your other people in your family don't want to be eating that much turmeric, have more bitter foods, and you can take it to the next and get wild foods. Wild foods is very feminine because we have, for example, cultivated foods. Farm foods is like masculine. It's like, I'm masculine. I'm going to plant this, and I'm not going to let this go weed. I'm just going to like put it in rows, and that's masculine. But feminine is wild. It's growing. It's abundant. It doesn't care. It's dynamic. So one of the beautiful practices for Navaratri, which I've kind of just discovered is through myself, is just going to forage if you know how to do that. And Navaratri is a great time to initiate new health practices. And that could be, if you've never done foraging, you've never harvesting wild food, go type in wherever you live and find a local foraging workshop. Do that during these 9 days. Start learning how to find wild food and know the principles, of course. when you're foraging. There's certain principles for safety, but in general, it's very safe and very easy, and free food, fresh food, the best food. We're doing an epic podcast coming up. We filmed with Diego Bonetto. And if you're in Sydney, check out Diego Bonetto. He's one of the best foraging experts on particularly urban wild foods, and you can do plenty of workshops with him. So that's one thing. Water. We have to include water. It's too neglected when people talk about ahara, which is food and diet. So you can, of course, like if you drink from plastic bottles and you buy water out, don't do that. If you drink tap water, just stop that for 9 days. Even if it means buying plastic bottles of spring water. Look, I'm not a proponent of plastic. I don't want it, but I think you should be really getting away from this tap water for these 9 days at least. And sipping hot water is an amazing thing. Plain hot water. Get spring water delivered to you. Buy spring water. Harvest your own spring water. Maybe it's time to get a filter during these 9 days. Get a filter or be the filter. I recommend you get a filter. There's too much crap and toxins in the tap water systems all around the world, particularly in Australia and the USA. And we just today released a wonderful episode with the person who is more obsessed with water than anyone in the world, from my knowledge, and that's Isabel Friend, who's a full-time water scientist, water researcher, educator, and nerd. So we talk about particularly hydration on the Veda podcast. And yeah, so listen to that. There's probably some resources on how to optimize your water. And again, water is prana. We're mostly water. So we really want this life force. We want this prana. How to eat. Oh, so important. Like really, this is like honor the feminine in the food. Honor the divine in the food. Food is divine. It's Mother Earth giving. So please stop. So first step, if you've never done this, you can do it if it's awkward or whatever. Just before you eat, you don't even have to close your eyes. Just kind of, if people are around you and it's awkward, just take a moment and forget about everyone else and just center yourself and just connect with the food. It doesn't take much effort. Just stop and think, okay, I'm about to nourish myself, whatever, just like that. And then you can take it to the next level and put in this mudra, this hand gesture, which opens the heart to the aspect within the food. And it just enhances your ability to connect to that subtle divinity that is present in the food, that subtle divinity which nourishes you, which gives you life force. And you can learn the self-pulse to feel your own pulse, which activates your your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest. The reason why it's really important to stop before you eat is because you're typically in flight or fight, which is everything's going on and you're working, whatever. We want to activate the rest and digest. And yeah, you can try things like sitting on the floor when you eat. In Ayurveda, it's prescribed to eat from a plate which is below your waist. That way you're bending to pick up the food in front of you and you're squeezing the pancreas, and you are that's helping secrete digestive enzymes. So it's really good for digestion. And eat with your hands if you want to give it a go. That would be an awesome practice for 9 days. It takes about 3 days to get the hang of it. For the first 3 days, it will feel awkward, but after that, it will feel bloody awesome. So some of you guys may have experimented with this stuff. Some of you may sit on the floor and eat. Some of you may eat it with your hands. Some of you may have prayed before eat or feel your pulse before eat, but you don't do it all the time. So especially for you guys, why I say some experience, like this is the 9 days to practice that daily. And by the way, it makes it much easier if you're really eating at home during these 9 days, because when people are inviting you out and everything gets complex, but remain in integrity and do what you've got to do. So brahmacharya, the regime of creation, involves dinacharya, which is daily routine. So charya kind of means regime. It means movement. It's function. Like it creates functional results in life according to your movement or your regime. So chala is movement in Hindi and in Sanskrit. So there's so many things. So wake. So this is 9 days to really get up in the morning. So if you're you know, the kind of person who hits the snooze button 3 or 5 times, you know, maybe hit it just once or twice. If you're the person who hits the snooze button once, don't hit it at all. Just when your alarm goes off, or if you don't have an alarm, you just wake up and you tend to just stay in bed, I really invite you to just get up and go to the bathroom and wash your hands and then wash your face and then brush your teeth and scrape your tongue within the first 3 minutes of waking. First 3 minutes of waking, this is the key. You scrape the tongue before it gets those things off. Sorry guys, I'm just going to go a bit fast because there's a lot. But feel free to jot down questions in the chat and we'll get to them at the end. So if they come up, you can leave them in the chat. So then getting up in the Brahma Muhurta, which is between 3:30 and 5:30 a.m., the time of totality. We've done a whole podcast on Brahma Muhurta. Check it out. Why you should get up at that time, what energies are available then, why getting up then gives you more energy and makes you help you eliminate your bowel motions and other wastes, and why it enhances creativity and meditation and so many things. And then if you want to do it to the next level, and you already get up the Brahma Muhurta sometimes, which i.e. the time before sunrise, get up early. Get up at like 3:30, get up at 4 a.m., 4:30, whatever. Abhyanga, oil massage, doing daily. If you've never done it before, just start with put a bit of on your head and your feet. That's it. Before sleep, takes 5 minutes or less. Can take 2 minutes if you want. Take 1 minute. If you've kind of delved into Abhyanga, then try doing it every day. If it's a short version, even if it's a short version, I mean to say. So you can check out on our website, you can download a free poster, tells you how to do self-oil massage. This is what Abhyanga is. One of the most crucial things. I've done lectures and lectures on Abhyanga, podcasts on it, and just want to restrain myself from talking too much on these things which deserve so much time to talk about. But you can do every day. The Vans do a full Abhyanga every day, right? So just really do that Abhyanga every day. Especially for those who know Abhyanga and who have practiced it and who maybe do it once a week or every second day or every 3 days or once a month. Do this every day for 9 months. This is one of the most important things during Navaratri, is doing Abhyanga. This is getting to know yourself, getting to know your body. So meditating, definitely the number one priority out of everything. So if you've never meditated, start meditation, use a teacher, use an app, whatever helps you. If you've done some meditation, maybe you've been initiated into a technique and you're not practicing, now's the time to be doing twice a day, these 9 days, and picking and maintaining that integrity. And pranayama, you can even add, which is breathing exercises and before your meditation. So if you are doing twice a day already, maybe you'll do pranayama every time before, at least once a day, which is breathing exercise. If you're learned advanced techniques, you can add them onto your practice. So you're not only doing your general meditation, you're doing more. And if you're really like, for example, with me, I have this advanced technique called the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, which takes longer than my meditation. And I don't do the full thing every day because it takes longer. But I've told my team, schedule me later. I don't want to start consultations this early. During these 9 days, I'm going to start a bit later so I can do my full program every day, twice a day. Really important. Exercise, do some movement daily. If you don't exercise, definitely start doing some movements or walking. If you do a little bit of exercise here and there, then maybe every day you want to be doing something, even if it's for 5 minutes, but doing something. Maybe it's one Surya Namaskar, the best exercise that I love the most because it works all the body organs, all the systems, which is sun salutations. Do a sun salutation every day. Do 3. Increase day by day over the 9 days. Like day 1, do 1, day 2, do 3, 4, 5, do, and then you'll end up with 9 sun salutations on the 9th day. Beautiful practice. Sun salutations. So many benefits. And if you want to learn, you can probably look online. Just take it easy. So yeah. Oh, and I said at the end, a maximum capacity is Surya Namaskar. So, you can do even 10 a day, 12 a day, 13 a day, 7 a day, whatever is your max capacity, do that every day. Don't miss Surya Namaskar sun salutations. Nasya, medicated nose drops. Sols, do we have any right here? No, because I would show you a demonstration, but sniffing oil up the nose, always better to use the medicated oils, and you can use the more you do it. So however, if you use it, if you've never used it, get some Nasika oil, try it. Start doing it. Maybe it's once a day, maybe it's every few days during the Navaratri. If you do Nasika, maybe you have the bottle sitting at home and you don't do it every day, do it every day. If you're doing it once a day, maybe do it 2-3 times. If you're doing it more, 3-5, like that. We've got some different Nasika oils. We recently got a Phala Nasika, which is very excited. It's a fertility Nasika. So for those who want to enhance that, it's a medicated ghee which works on the brain-uterus connection, specifically for females. But you can also increase to the special Nasika, the stronger one, like that. Gandusha is oil pulling. You've heard of the oil pulling. I'm swishing oil in the mouth, 15 to 20 minutes. So you can do that. Try that. It's not something that I do every day personally, because I don't have dental issues. It is a daily routine thing in Ayurveda to be done every day. I only prescribe it if someone has oral issues, inflammation, needs to get their wisdom teeth pulled out, has been told they need to have some procedure, whatever it is, ulcers, low immune system there, doing every day. So like that, you can, and or do day 3, 6, 9, all these things you can see. So quickly, a few more things with the Dinacharya. Do some extra sadhana. Sadhana means spiritual practice. So if you're already meditating, you can do some, if you're not meditating, meditate. If you want to do something that, add some extra experiences that are given through a qualified teacher. And when I say qualified, I mean not like you have a certificate or anything, but you have the ability to really authentically give knowledge that is appropriate and safe for someone. So whether that's teaching you to how to feel your own pulse, because that itself is a practice, or japa, which is chanting mantras on beads, but that is a big practice and really requires not just anyone to give you that. Like I don't give that. And we recorded a wonderful podcast. It's not out yet with Swami Purna Chaitanya, who is a wonderful Swami from the Art of Living Ashram. And he teaches about that. But you can check out his website. Like he's legit. Swami Purna Chaitanya, Art of Living. If you need some help with his name, if you wanted to learn japa, maybe he's the right man. I don't know if he teaches online or anything, but he's got a lot of information on that. And then just doing more of these practices, doing, as I said, the longer meditation, more self-pulse, more like that. Tongue scraping, of course. If you don't do it, do it. It's like not brushing your teeth. It's worse than not brushing your teeth. So I'm not going to speak much about it, but for those who don't scrape their tongue, and for those who don't scrape their tongue within the first 3 minutes of waking up, do it then, because if you do it after, you're missing all the benefits. The toxins go back in. When I do lectures, I ask, who scrapes their tongue? Most people, maybe half people might put their hand up, or depending on the audience. And then I'll say, so for you guys who have your hand up, if you had a choice, would you rather scrape your tongue or brush your teeth? For those who prefer to scrape their tongue, keep your hand up. Most of them will keep their hand up. They'd rather scrape their tongue than brush their teeth. Why? Because there are more strep mutants on the tongue. There are more bad bacteria on the tongue. People who put their hand down, they don't scrape their tongue within the first 3 minutes. They're missing that toxic removal and it's reabsorbing back in the body, so they're not feeling the benefit. Basically, scrape your tongue. If you want it to feel, if you really like scraping your tongue, and like we haven't really offered this or talked much about this, but you can upgrade your metal. Like first, if you're using plastic or stainless steel, get a copper tongue scraper. Hey, maybe you want to get silver. Maybe you want to get gold. So love and relationships is a big one, particularly if you're the masculine in the relationship, honoring the feminine, but also the feminine. If you're the feminine, like being able to receive and tap into the masculine in that intertwine and enhancing that. But especially, well, I'll speak for myself, like being the masculine, to really focus on how you can honor your partner, or not just your partner, but the feminine in your life, your mother, your sisters, whatever gender or person, just the feminine in that person, honoring. So even in men, you can honor the feminine. And so we really want to, like, during the Navaratri, stay away from kind of lust and excited sexuality, and we want to be more with just true love and be relaxed in love, and not have all of this excitement and stimulation. It's typically a time for kind of, you can say celibacy, but celibacy sounds very it's not the best word. The word is brahmacharya, which means mastering of your creative energy or your sexual energy, mastery over that. And it's a big thing to master, particularly in the West, where we've been conditioned to certain sexuality and lust and sex and excitement and orgasm and all this stuff. So if it's not capable for you to tap into that, better just maybe stay away or practice, do certain practices. Bathing, do bathe every day, of course. And just certain bodies of water, because water is feminine. It's the only element out of 5 which is feminine. So particularly if you can take the time to swim, if you have a beach near you, make the effort to swim every day, or at least swim more throughout these 9 days. In a lake, whatever it is, make the effort to give the time to go to those places. And particularly in the Southern Hemisphere or in Australia, it's colder. Doesn't matter. If you can, if it's healthy. For some people it's not the right thing to do, particularly if you have a cold, but if not, do that, surrendering of the preference to do that. Another thing with dinacharya is like dharma and behavior. So just be like kind of on your best behavior. Don't gossip about people, speak the sweet truth, speak well. Just be aware of your aspects which can become a bit dark, and that you want. Hopefully you're aware of some of these, and just increase your awareness over these, and honoring and serving people. Maybe you want to give donations on Victory Day, which is the 10th day. So it's after the 9 days. It's a good day to donate. Or actually it may also be on the first day of Navaratri. I need to check that, but any of this time donating and good is, and serving, doing some service. So like this. And I just added for fun because it is a part of the daily routine which isn't talked about, and it's a bit advanced, but in Ayurveda, daily routine is one of the things is what are you first looking at in the morning? Yeah, we definitely don't want to be looking at your phone or a screen. There's different things you could look at, certain herbs, certain foods, certain like shmiti or ghee, or a certain person, but the best and the easiest is your palms, like looking in the palm of your hand. And by the way, if any of you want to learn more about dinacharya, one of the most recent, it's a very recent episode, we did a lot about a podcast with Dr. Aditya Raju. We speak about dinacharya in great detail, and he speaks about this ritual of looking at your palms every morning and going through these 3 qualities of Mother Divine: Lakshmi, Saraswati, Govinda. Karagre vasate Lakshmi. So abundance is in the tips of the fingers. Karamadhya Saraswati. Wisdom is in the middle. Karamuletu Gauriya. Gauri, Mother Shakti, Divine Feminine, infinite power is in the base of the palms. Prabhate Karadarshanam. So this is like a beautiful practice which you can learn. And when we learned it, we had a piece of paper stuck next to our bed of this mantra. And every morning we'd wake up, turn the light on. We don't usually turn the light, but we had to read the thing. And we learned this mantra. And so a whole lot of things to this. Maybe I'll tell you about in the podcast, but this is a beautiful thing to do, particularly on Navaratri. I never thought about it, that it is actually the 3 Mother Divines. But forget about the mantra if that's too hard. Just look at your palms first thing in the morning. Or you can just go Lakshmi, Saraswati, Gauri. But if you want to learn more of that, check that. Okay. All right, hygiene, just dress, keep odors away, wash if it's hot and you need to like wash, have some perfume, flowers, get more flowers in your life throughout these 9 days. Give flowers, wear flowers, put flowers in your ear, have that Lakshmi, that dressing up and being beautiful, wearing jewelry, perfume, being like that divine feminine that's open and expressive, like allow that beauty to come from within. Beauty is nothing but coming from within, and that feeling of radiance and health. Lakshmi, which is this abundance, it's that which flows, that loves to flow, is as I said, the brother or the sister of Dhanvantri. Not exactly brother and sister, but we say like brother and sister for lack of a better word. And because that's health, right? When you have abundance, true abundance is health. When you have health, you feel wealth. you feel that radiance. You can feel beauty. You can feel abundance. That's true wealth. So ṛtucaryā is quickly, Ratri means night. So this is the night charya. So if you're someone who loves to look at screens, Instagram or Netflix right before bed, it's the last thing you're watching before you turn off, go to sleep, really like surrender that, at least not before you go to bed. So if you go to bed at 9 o'clock, for example, or 10 o'clock, you know, watch your Netflix if you're so addicted, and stop it, you know, half an hour before sleep and do something else. Feel your pulse, listen to something, don't have the screens. It disrupts the hormones, and these devatas, these celestial beings, these celestial divine aspects of consciousness, which can be expressed in the form of a devata like Lakshmi, or expressed in the physiology like in a pineal gland or a blood cell. The whole, everything that is outside is inside kind of thing. So reduce your screens. Maybe you'll do 2 hours no screens before 2 hours before sleep. Maybe you'll just do like minimum after sunset. Maybe do none after sunset. You're like turning your phone off after sunset. You're not watching TV. You're not on the computer. You're stopping work. As much as you can, guys, get into this. Sleep is, so you want to sleep earlier. Maybe you're sleeping not long after sunset, especially if you're missing dinner. It's a really good thing to sleep early because it helps your digestion. It helps you prevent from getting hungry. So sorry, ignore this Brahma Muhurta. That's a typo. Basically just sleeping early. And the more you can see, and I put asterisks because certain things, and I'm not offering this and not recommending it, but if you have it, that's great. It's definitely good if you have the right teacher. But some people may do, because Navaratri is the 9 nights, they may have certain sadhana, or they may have certain practice to be performing in the night. So for that, but it should be very relaxed. It's not, unfortunately, in India, you've got bright lights and music and everything pumping. Just the lights is horrendous in India, and the blue lights, and in many other places. That you don't want. You want to be up night doing some sadhana, some meditation, some mantras, and you're in a deep-sided state anyway. Eye care. I'm doing this because it's not a common thing which people do, and it's not a common thing that I do, but I do it during Navaratri. So during, what you can do is you can get makeup remover pads, or even just cotton makeup remover pads, soak it in pure rose water. Make sure you get pure because it's just too hard, which is also beautifully feminine. And just before sleep, put them on your eyes and go to sleep like that, lying on your back, and then you'll take them off 20, 30 minutes, whatever after. Take to the next level. Get Netra Amrit, which is eye drops. Fantastic eye drops. And do that maybe every 3rd day, or just three times a week. Or do it daily. And this is a time where, you know, especially Netra Amrit, commonly previously known as black eye drops, out of 300 herbal formulas that we recommend, and we have in our dispensary, this is one of my personal favorites. It does the action, it scrapes. So you do it, it stings a bit. Well, can be a lot for some people who need it more, but just for 10, 20 seconds. And what this sting, it's scraping, it's removing the fatigue, the kapha in the eyes, and it is removing any excess cataracts. And at the same time, it's lubricating the eyes. And at the same time, although it's kind of removing and getting away that thing and activating the vision, which is a fire in the eyes, the tejas, it also is reducing the pitta, or that inflammation in the eyes. So this is, I just love, you know, you get this sting, this subtle kind of sting. It's very strong, especially if you've never used it before. That doesn't last long, 10, 20 seconds, but it's removing. So after, in the morning, you may wake up with like this amazing clarity and this energy, because it's just removed the fatigue, the toxins. So fantastic herb, and a great thing to be doing, because, you know, it is a bit of a, not the most enjoyable thing. It takes a bit to put the eye drop in. That's why I personally don't do it every day. I don't need to do it every day. Some people do need to do it every day because they have premature or even premature blindness or macular degeneration coming on. So doing it, and some people love to do it every day because it makes them feel better. They lubricate their eyes. They don't have dry eyes in the day. But for someone like me who's doing it as a preventative, I do it 9 days in a row for a couple times a year, a few times a year, and I do it during my 40-day different other things that I do in the year. So good thing to do, stuff which Navaratri is a good opportunity to do things which maybe you don't want to do every day, and that isn't necessary for you to do every day. It would be great, but I live a life and you want to do other things, but this is a good time. Oil application. So before in bed, you can do certain things like massaging your feet, which is parabhyanga. You can then add on the bit of oil on your crown, then massage your feet. You can do that and then do eardrops with Karnapurna oil, especially if you're having some tinnitus or headaches or vata, stress, neurodegeneration. The eardrops are good, the Karnapurna oil. I only recommend putting high quality oils in your ears as well as in your yoni and your vagina, which is another one you can do with Pradahara Pitru oil or the yoni oil. And you can also put oil in your belly button. So this is for things like fertility, for excessive discharges, general wound health, general hygiene, lack of libido, lack of too much dryness in that area, whatever it is, these kind of oils. And then you can even add things like, all these things you can do all of this and this. So all these things. Matrabastis, look, some of you may have not heard about Dinacharya much, but I'm just giving you the full thing because Navaratri, and you don't have to do any of these things. I'm just saying for those who have never explored this or who have heard about it or maybe been recommended, it's a good time to try it. Matrabasti is small nourishing oil enema. And if you're interested in enemas or particularly oil enemas, I don't have too much time to talk about it, but you must watch the video I did on YouTube and an article. It's called, you can write down, or even Soleil or Pedro can put in the chat. Busties, enemas, and colonics. Think twice before putting anything up your bum. So it's talking about the enemas, which for those who don't know is administering liquid through the rectum, and it bypasses the digestive system and goes straight into the body. It can be definitely can be dangerous. That's why you have to use a very specific oil, not just any oil. And even if they say an Ayurvedic practitioner recommends an oil, it may not be the right thing. So the right thing is to do a small amount in a nourishing way. It's not for cleansing, it's mainly for the nervous system. It's not to cleanse, it's to nourish the nervous system. And sound, you can listen to some chanting, you can listen to some mantras during sleep, before sleep. So I want to finish so I can do some group things. So ahara, so here we have herbs, oshadi. Maybe screenshot if you need, but I don't want to go too much into this, but definitely taking herbs is a good thing, and taking more herbs, and a wonderful time to start herbs. Like, great if you can do it on day one, but it's a really good time to initiate new things. And starting herbal regime is really good, even if it's one herb or two herbs. I always recommend formulas. I don't recommend single herbs. Purification herbs I've got on first because it's really important to be cleansing regularly during Navaratri. It is a time for cleansing, and with that cleansing comes restoration. So Triphala is a common Ayurvedic formula of 3 fruits, Triphala, 3 fruits, or you can take it to the multiple levels and get Navarātri, which is just a fantastic purification formula. It's every day we should be purifying our body and having proper elimination of wastes. You should be having a bowel motion every morning, which feels complete before your breakfast or before your coffee. And if you're not having that, there's many ways to do that, to enhance that. And definitely one very helpful is taking Navarātri before dinner the previous night. Digestion, again, using kitchen spices, having fennel seeds after food. If you've ever tried that, just roasting fennel seeds. So again, particularly if you guys have digestive disorder, any of you have digestive disorders or gas, maybe what you're gonna do, you can do it tomorrow for preparation. Get fennel seeds, okay? Roast them in a pan, just a pan. Roast them, no oil, nothing, until they pop, until they get a bit not burnt, but you want them to feel roasted. Keep it in a jar. After every meal during Navaratri, or especially after lunch, chew a teaspoon or half a teaspoon. wonderful remedy for bloating, and tastes good and doesn't make you crave things after, or sweets and stuff, and chocolate and organic chocolate. It just gives you that beautiful topping up, tonito kind of vibes. And you can make yourself cumin tea. You can take it to the next level and get higher advanced formulas like tridoshic digestive tea, swagni, you can take after food. And then the tridoshic digestive tea, which is a popular tea which we make up of 22 herbs, which you can do a similar thing, an inferior version, which is like I said, an initiate version. But for people who have really strong digestive, particularly like bloating and gas, to boil that tea in a pot until the water reduces. So you're not just adding the tea in the hot water and seeping it, but you're actually boiling it and making a concentrated decoction. So if you've, for example, the thing is, reality is not many of you guys need it, but if you already drink tridoshic digestive tea and you want to take it to the next level, you could try that. Some herbs for conscious mind and sattva, particularly if you're into the spiritual journey during Navaratri, taking pragya or shmiti and bliss, definitely. Immunity, increasing immunity, taking amla if it's available, amlaki. If it's not, you can get it powder form. You can take amlaki as the main ingredient in nuts and yog, sipping cetogel, all these things. And there's so many rasayanas. A lot of these herbal rasayanas, which is like tonics or elixirs or longevity herbs, which can be taken daily. It's like food. If you do some research, or you can hear from some qualified sources and who know their herbs and particularly know where the herbs come from and how they're made, you can probably I don't want to say prescribe, but you can take them yourself. Otherwise, you speak to a practitioner and get the best rasayanas and herbal regime for you. Okay, Navaratri, Vrata. Vrata, this is where I'm going to hear from all you guys. So here we have, on the 10th day, we celebrate, in this photo, Mother Divine Durga killing the demon who is a bull. So you have, just on this, we'll go into Vijaya Dashami, but you have the feminine killing the buffalo, very masculine. The buffalo is masculine, and she's using a lance. That weapon she has is a lance. It's very tejas. It's very like fire. So in Navaratri, you can have this, like a sword is vata. A sword is the air element. And a club, or these things like what Hanuman uses, and is like kapha. But the lance is tejas. And that's what we want in Navaratri. Tejas means fire. That's what we want in Navaratri. We want this. We want to give a bit more. We don't want to just do a bit of things. We want that kind of drive. We want that precision. We want to give that extra zealous, like that motivation and that discipline. So here we have the feminine killing the masculine. What does it mean? It means getting rid of this masculine cleverness of control and masculine, I'm going to do it this way, but having that feminine of dynamism and infinite organizing power and beauty and expressiveness and wildness. This is what these things represent. So a vrata is a kind of vow. It's, what are you going to do during these 9 days? I want to know. I want to know, and I want you guys to comment. It doesn't have to be the ultimate thing, but even if you've had thoughts, are you going to give up coffee? You're going to give up chocolate? Whatever it is, I'm going to meditate. Like, please, if you've had some initial thoughts, and it can just be initial, it doesn't have to be once you type it in, it's like locked in, but share what's coming up with you just throughout this conversation to give some ideas, please, in the chat. Write some stuff and let it just puddle through, and whatever you're thinking, it doesn't have to be the ultimate. I want you then to later think about it and go more, you're gonna set this intention, and that you can share. I want you to share on the Vital Veda community Facebook group. On the Vital Veda, so if you're not part of it, so can you send the link? Vital Veda community Facebook group. And I should do a post, maybe we can comment, otherwise you can just do it. And I want to get this conversation going, because when I do Navaratri groups in the past, it's really nice to hear everyone's vrat, or their kind of intention on what they're going to surrender, what they're going to do. And it's nice to hear. And then throughout Navaratri, and look, this is my first time doing a Navaratri or kind of doing this kind of thing. But I'm not going to do it this Navaratri, but in the future, we'll do some more group work, and I'll be helping you guys, facilitating it and offering certain procedures throughout the 9 days, and maybe more specific cleanses, the things you can do. But for now, this Navaratri, I invite you all to the Vital Veda Community Facebook page and share throughout how you're doing also. And if you need anything, like, reach out. It's not just me who's on it. Like, the Vital Veda community, we have all these amazing practitioners and people who have that had their own experience with many things, and they are also contributing their input. So yeah, you know, we can have some, I'm just going to quickly brush through some of them, but we can leave it in the chat, and we'll repost this as well with the conversation. But you know, fennel seeds after food, eat less and sleep early, eye drops, skip dinner, great thing to do. Wake up before 5:30, early waking daily yoga, so important. Move my body every day. Good. That's something I need to also work on, more movement. Less screen time, great. Improve my sleep routine, lots of mantra meditation, nasika, bliss, less sugar, more turmeric, ginger, hot water, abhyanga, love it. No alcohol, good. Daily sea swimming, oh yeah, I'll be with you on that one. 2 meals a day only, good, love that one. Michael in UK, mate, he's swimming in the UK. I think you're in, maybe you're not, maybe in Europe. Getting up earlier, eat less, roasted fennel seeds, more nourishing ṛtucaryā, sleep early, less coffee, get back to twice a day meditation. You know, if you learn twice a day meditation technique, definitely getting back is so important. 2 meals a day, tongue scraping, less screen time, tongue scraping within the first 3 minutes, medicated ghee, eye drops. I've not used once or twice, but yes, good to do. Community group page is so good. Going inwards and letting go to feel lighter, beautiful, less screen time, less coffee, alcohol. Good. The Vital Veda team posted as well. Going to try and integrate fruit, dropping rice a few days. Nice. Maybe rice for you, David, is been a lot. So yeah, sadhana, no sweets, takeaway, go to bed. Great. So nice, guys. Really nice. Keep the conversation flowing, keep it going. Some salutations daily, meditate twice daily, and avoid snacks, bread. Skip big breakfast. Good. So many good things. Rub back of palms first thing in the morning. Nice. Listen to that episode. It tells you more. If you're Vata predominant Prakriti, would sea swimming be bad if you're in Melbourne? Like, yeah, guys. So, you know, you don't think you have to do these things or reach the maximum, or definitely do what's right for you. So if swimming in cold water will cause you some imbalance in you, then don't do it. So judge yourself what's good. So yeah, we got time, guys. We still got well, what time are we finishing? 10 minutes. So yeah, let's talk about Vijaya Dashami, taking pulse. Yeah. So by the way, for those who want to learn self-pulse, check out on the Vital Veda website. We have a self-pulse course with my teachers who are world-renowned masters in pulse. They're amazing, and you can just learn about it there. I can't recommend it enough, particularly if you want to learn about Ayurveda, whether it's for yourself or in any way. That's the best place to start, because all the knowledge of Ayurveda is in your own pulse. All the knowledge of your physiology is in your own pulse. So after these 9 days, and it's been a full-on webinar, guys, I appreciate everyone staying with me, is a beautiful time. It's called Vijaya Dashami, also known as Victory Day. This is on the 5th of October, and sometimes on the 4th, maybe. Haven't fully looked into it, but probably the 5th. It's always on the 10th day. This is when Durga, Mother Divine, again, here's another photo of that, a different depiction, slayed that demon. It was this big demon called, I'm not good with, I can't remember his name, Maheshwara or something, but this buffalo demon. And also, it's the time when Rama, who is like the ultimate dharmic, which means living his most evolutionary thing he can be doing, the kind of perfect human. He's an exemplar. It's when he slayed the big demon called Ravana on this day, when the stars were in this position, however many thousands of years ago that was. So it's Victory Day. It's when we have victory of light over darkness, over evil, and it's And it's a time, so this is a wonderful time of the year to initiate things. Okay. This Victory Day is a wonderful day to initiate things. So if, and this one you don't have to share, it may be personal, but as I said, we have someone who's proposing on this day to their partner. You may invest, you've been wanting to reach out to someone for, like, you know, one time what I was doing was emailing all these high profile people who I wanted on my podcast show, who I may have even emailed in the past but not got a response. But I do it on Victory Day, because whatever you do on this day is victorious. So, you know, you could speak, as I said, speak to your mother who you haven't spoken to in 10 years. You've been wanting to kind of initiate anything you want to initiate. It will be lasting. There's 2 days of the year to do this. One is Victory Day and one is called ṛtucaryā, which means the day of everlasting achievements. Don't ask me when it is. It's around probably 6 months ago or something. So Victory Day and the day of everlasting achievements. Now, it's good you're asking when Victory Day is, because this Navaratri, because there's 2 moon cycles in one, it gets a bit thing. So if you give me my phone, souls, I can double check the panchang, but it is the 5th, but it is, for example, in New South Wales, I'm pretty sure, but can I have my phone just to double check, because I want to give you guys the right information. I'm pretty sure it's till 5:30 p.m. on the 5th. So if you just get drink panchang up. So yeah, so this day, what are you going to initiate? You can really think about this. I still don't even know. You're launching something for your business, you're doing something. So yeah, 5th of October in Australia, New South Wales, it ends at 5:30 p.m. and it starts on the 4th of October at 7:50 p.m. So you can check your panchang, and like, I know it's hard for people to check these things if you don't know. So ask a local jyotishi, ask on the Veda community group. Just say your city where you live if you want to know exactly. But yeah, so initiate. What else could you initiate? All these things. You want to start a herb. You want to start a new health practice, although Navaratri is a good time to start, but start something new. Put on a new piece of jewelry which you haven't put on. Like these type of things. There's so many things. I'll leave you guys creative to do that, but whatever you initiate will help be everlasting. More learning. You know, maybe you're going to start a course and just initiating. Like it could be just signing up to the course or purchasing the course, or it could be putting the deposit of the house or car, whatever you want to do, or signing contracts, all these things. So yeah, this is really what I wanted to share. That's about it, guys. I just want to see other things for you guys to do during Navaratri, since we're not this year doing anything. Prashanti Dejaga is an amazing man who does who leads Navaratris live every day. And if you're interested, particularly in herbs or anything, he's a wonderful man. Mahasoma is a meditation collective based in Australia, but they do many things, and they're doing, I mean, I know it's late, but they're doing an India retreat. But check them out, because they do a lot of wonderful India retreats, and they're doing it during Navaratri. So there are ceremonies going on in various, like heaps of ceremonies, and you can, Vedic ceremonies, which we call yagyas, which are directly communing with Mother Divine and certain aspects every day. And it's a huge thing to be doing these ceremonies. So you can sponsor them, and they do them on your behalf. So they use your name, and not only your name, but like your Jyotish details, which is your astrology details, to exactly pinpoint you. So just picking on someone who's on my screen, Cassie. So there's a Cassie Nielsen is joining us. And if Cassie wanted to, for example, join this yagya and have the masters of ceremony in India perform it on her behalf, because there's certain mantras which invokes this energy in her. They don't just say, okay, Cassie Nielsen, but Cassie Nielsen, who was born with this particular star, and when the moon was in this position, and when the sun was in this position, and what was on the horizon at her birth, that kind of pinpoints Cassie Nielsen wherever she is in the world, kind of brings her to that ceremony which she's on the other side of the world for. So that can be done If you're interested in that, I would probably say just email info@vitalveda.com.au. We can share with you one ceremonies that we recommend to sponsor in India. Sponsor is kind of a weird word. It's participate in, but there's a lot. Have a consultation with me before Navaratri or during Navaratri, and kind of just enhance a specific program for you. And it's mainly about health with me, but depending on other things, we can get as much to your desire and what's relevant and appropriate for you. Go to local pujas, go to local ceremonies. So here's one in Sydney, Australia, which I always recommend. The beautiful, you can see there, Pandit, he's a master of ceremony. So he's doing it. So if you can go in person, really just ask your local Indian community. He's basically from the local Indian community, but he's a very good master of ceremony who invokes these energies. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, he's live on Facebook. So I recommend joining him on Facebook. You can see there. Just see what one of these ceremonies are. Just tune in. And if he's not on Facebook, just kind of have to contact him saying, go on live. But yeah, so you can check things out like that. And so yeah, these are some things you can do as well during the Navaratri. And yeah, I would really like, however detail you want to share, please share your vrata on the Vital Veda Facebook community. Maybe I'll quickly do a post and you can comment, and then we have it all in one place. And if Pedro's on, is Pedro on the call? Or Souls, if you can do that, that'd be great. Sign up to the Vital Veda newsletter, because that's where we'll be announcing the next Navaratri. The two main Navaratris are around this time, and it's around March. And we're going to have potentially, I don't know if it's going to be this March or it's going to be a later Navaratri. We're going to have a very special offering with some special Ayurvedic doctors who potentially also is going to have the option to do it in person. In Australia, maybe, and online if you can't get to Australia for those 9 days. We're going to see, we'll see, but that will be announced via the newsletter. And we'll definitely have an online community. So yeah, guys, thanks so much for joining me. It's bang on the time, but I wanted to say we're going to be putting this up, and there's anything, like, it doesn't have to be specific Navaratri, but it can be retreats, like yoga retreats that just happen to be on these dates. Like, do breaking patterns, remember to break patterns. And I don't want to keep you guys too late, but so if you want to go. Otherwise, if anyone has questions, can you tell me some questions? So Sols is just going to read me some questions which I asked, and we'll maybe do another 10 minutes of questions or so. Yeah, so sun rising 7:30, what to do? Yeah, 5:30, wake up. Yeah, 2 hours prior. 7:30 is a late sunrise, so definitely getting up early. Steam inhalation is another dinacharya practice you can do. Definitely good, particularly during this time if you are feeling vulnerable to your respiratory system, to your immune system, to your any congestion, headaches. Doing steam inhalation with a bowl of boiling water, with a couple drops of prana drops or citagel, head over the towel over the head, inhale the steam and have a drink. Or you just do the little mini version, putting a drop on that and inhaling the steam like that and drinking. Yeah, so good question. If you don't have nasuka oil, and always good to use the medicated oils for the nose especially, but you can use ghee, just putting some ghee on your fingers and like that. Good quality ghee. Skin brushing is something we need to be very careful of. Most people, it's not good for. It's going to irritate the vata. It's going to make you feel more rough and dry and unstable. And it's not a good thing. Unless you're very oily and excess weight, it can be helpful. But Abhyanga is the best to move the lymphatic system. I don't recommend. It can cause too many problems. Better consult if you think you're liking that. And the other question was? Would it be possible to write a mantra or looking at the palm? Looking at the palm mantra is on the Vital Veda show notes. So if you go to the dinacharya episode, you can see that. But definitely here, if you're interested in learning it, like what we did, we had it on our bedside for some time. And we also had the nighttime one. I think in that episode, we shared the one before sleep. That was much quicker to learn. because you're awake before sleep, you can read it. But the morning one, you're like, you're like half asleep and it takes longer to learn. Name of Dhamma Mantra, Dhanvantri Vandanam. Vandanam means prayer. Good. So thank you so much, everyone. I look forward to seeing all of your Navaratri vrats on Facebook. And let's keep this flowing through Navaratri, this community, because it's so beautiful to do this together as a collective. Thank you. I will post now on the Facebook group so you can share good there. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate all of you joining and all of you commenting and asking questions for all of you. Thank you all.